Now, as we approach the end of today's forum, it really is time for reflection, and we had a lot of key themes today. So there's no better person to help us all reflect than Steen Lund, CEO of RightShip.
I want to start with a massive, massive thank you, because this has been everything that we in RightShip had hoped for in a day of bringing customers that we really think far more of as partners together. And that loop has been really wonderful to observe during the day, how conversations were allowed to go into challenges at times, but where we, without a doubt, all leave very, very enriched from having had a front row seat to many of these conversations. You heard from many of my colleagues in RightShip that we live off these conversations that allow us to then go back, think about what we have heard, think about what we have learned, reach out to the industry again, build on those learnings and turn them into value propositions to you as our customers. So there's really, really sense in having had that enormous investments that you have all made in being together here today. So I really want to just emphasize that very big thank you, that it's a flywheel that you have, through your investment today, helped set off. And we couldn't be more pleased with all the fantastic contributions that you have made. We also now know who's most resilient, and I'm quite impressed knowing that there is another event taking place in Cheers tomorrow, that we still have a fairly well-filled room here. So obviously those who are still left here will be rewarded with more conversations after we leave the room, and hopefully also with a little bit of food and cocktails afterwards. So do stick around for that, assuming you have time. I had a validation as I sat listening to and taking lots of notes to what was said, that zero harm and the vision we have around that really, really makes sense. It was very gratifying to hear that many customers were weaving your elements of your interpretation of zero harm into what you contributed with in your conversations today. Leonid, you said it straight out, and I read what I had written here. Where are you? I have so many notes that I can't find them. All of us should unite around zero harm. That I got a little bit of chills, so thank you for that, and I think that sat across many of the conversations. Wonderful. Thematically, we were again and again revisiting the conversation about what it means, what we do as a united industry to seafarers. And again, zero harm sits strongly across that ethos of bringing the seafarer home safely from the journey, but also during the journey, respecting that, for instance, the concept of the shore leave is to a very large extent broken, and it is for us to find solutions as we define and review what crew well-being, what crew welfare looks like. How can we pick out on that one element and really find ways to come together and do much more for the seafarers around getting off the ship and getting out into real life. I certainly took away themes around trusted data, auditable data, independently held data that's transparent and can stand up to scrutiny, but can also stand up during pressure when decisions need to be made. So that's something we in RightShip want to take back and question ourselves. Are we holding ourselves to that standard that you in the industry need around standardized data? We probably didn't quite spend enough time on technology and AI in itself. And then yet again, maybe we did. I found it really interesting that we had the discussions about AI-led, but with human oversight. And I want to assure you that within RightShip, we know that we are taking an increasingly significant lead with technology, and that AI will play a very significant role in not just how we build our products and how we become more efficient as technology builders of products, but also in how AI will be used within the products and will give you faster, more transparent, more trustworthy outcomes. So it's an area where also at the board level, the governance, you will see that we will envelope AI with. The governance we will apply onto how we handle data will be stronger and stronger and stronger. And this was me just openly declaring that I very much welcome that our board and with Eric and Law at the board will continue to work with us to ensure that we can be trusted with how we handle data, and that we are very, very serious and very aware that we will not be allowed to go wrong within that. So again, that arena is one you will see us work and give evidence that we are trusted custodians of data, and we will handle that custodianship in a really, really trustworthy way. Chris Saunders, very refreshing to hear about our intended and our aspired journey to bring the outcome of the inspection into the safety score. And again, here we also need to be really realistic. You saw one of the data points that he shared was that 45% of all inspections are rewarded with a 12 months validity. So that means 55 are not. And it's very easy to be carried away with the good that these changes can do. But if we end up that there's so many upsides to the product structure that there is no sense in differentiating the ship any longer, then all vessels will essentially be a safety score 5 out of 5. And that doesn't serve anyone at all. So we just got to be cognizant that also that development is one we have to envelope with a lot of seriousness, so we differentiate, as I think, Eric, you said, the really good performer from the one who genuinely isn't, and we shouldn't try to conflate those two. That's really important to be honest about, that it's not just a world of eternal upsides, it is also one of realism. What else did I have in my long list here? Yeah, I really enjoyed the conversations about essentially leaning on some of the same structures that sit within incident and accident reviews in the airline industry, and focusing far more, if not squarely, on the learnings that come out of that outcome. So in other words, how can we de-risk the party that come forward with information so that there is more information that is relevant that we can take action on. And again, we recognize in RightShip that we may have lived through a period where we have been perceived to have more punitive structure than rewarding structures, and you heard at least that we have the intention of introducing more rewarding structures. I should also share that part of the conversations we had yesterday with Intercargo and with DBCE is that the aspiration, once we have sufficient traction with audits against the dry bulk management standard, is to determine how we can lift those outcomes out of the conclusion of the audit and into the RightShip safety score. So in other words, another incentive to join DBCE, another incentive to undergo an audit, and another opportunity to be rewarded for those who pass the audit through the independent audit structure really well. So I did promise I'd do this quickly. I failed my promise, so now let me get back to just closing. In doing that, I really want to recognize everyone who was on stage, who contributed, customers, shareholders, and RightShip employees, all alike. Thank you for everything you put into preparing and the intelligence you put into the conversations you had. That made this day. I also would like to recognize our Zero Harm Innovation partners that I hope you have had the possibility to visit up in the beginning of the room. They continue to do really important work across safety, crew well-being, sustainability and other areas, and we're really, really pleased that we are partnering with them and they with us so that we can expose the industry to all the good that they are doing. So also thank you there. And lastly, of course, thank you to my colleagues who have been working fairly hard on getting this gathering set up, this day facilitated, and all the wonderful branding and communication that sat across it. And I'd like if you can give me a hand in passing those thanks to everyone I have just mentioned. So lastly, we did have a conversation whether it's appropriate to give a door gift or some other recognition to customers investing a whole day with RightShip, and my colleagues guided me that they thought there was a far more meaningful way to show appreciation. So on your behalf and ours, we have chosen to work with to us and I'm sure to you as well, very important industry partners, the Mission to Seafarers and Sailors Society, who are present here today. And again, I hope you had the opportunity to converse with them as they were in the room and manning their booths. To us, the work they do has a direct lineage to the well-being of the seafarers, and we are constantly impressed with the care and guidance and support they give to seafarers, to their families, and often in situation of great duress and stress. This is hard work, it's meaningful work, and what you do is very, very much appreciated by all of us in the industry. So we aggregated a donation that we will give to these two charities, and we'd also like to give them a massive, massive thank you for the good work you're doing. On that note, that was the mental stimulation that we could accumulate for a whole day, and I hope that you will join us in relaxing a little together, continuing the conversations out in the lobby, and having a little something in a glass to reward ourselves from a job very well done during the day today. So thank you again, and see you when we do this again. Thank you.